What's up, guys? It's your boy Keep It Real MMA. I'm just gonna go through the card really quickly. Obviously, UFC 281, Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. So yeah, we're gonna if you're new here, please like and subscribe. I'm gonna go through this card really quick. It's 20 to 4 in the morning. I've been spending tonight fixing the fucking PC. But anyway, if you're new here, please like and subscribe. I'm Keep It Real MMA for a reason. If you're new here, you know you wouldn't know this, but I will give you the best bet I can possibly offer you. I'm just giving my genuine opinion. You don't have to take the advice. It's just what I've analysed based off the fights that I've seen. I've seen most of these fighters on the regional scene. I've seen them in the UFC. I've seen them in other big promotions and other different types of promotions. If you get what I mean, you'll see what I mean. And I'm giving you the stylistically how they've looked in their last couple of fights, and the competition that they faced, and the style matchup, and who I genuinely think is going to win, and how I think they're going to win. Now, like I said, I'm keeping real MMA for a reason. I'm not going to give you no fairy tale or because I want this person to win. No, it's genuine, straight facts. And I mean, you can look through all my videos. I have a very, very good record. I need to add it up. I need to watch my videos and add up what I've had. But, look through the year. At the end of the year, I'll actually add it all up and see what my record was. But I know I have a very positive record right now. So, anyway, I'll go from the start of the card all the way up to the main event. And, yeah, let's do this. So, first fight on the card, Carlos Ulberg versus Nikolai Nurmagomedov. I don't go with anyone in a minute. Carlos Ulberg's a -125 favourite. Nikolai Nurmagomedov, I can't say his name properly, he's Romanian, +105 underdog. I'm going with Carlos Ulberg. Nikolai Nurmagomedov, he's very good. He is good. I do believe that he's good. But the problem with him is that he looks good against fighters who are very low tier competition. Very low tier competition. And the thing is, he doesn't have the best gas tank in the world. And the problem is, he struggles sometimes to take certain people down. Carlos Ulberg, on the other hand, has one loss. And his one loss is to Kennedy Nzechukwu. I can't say his name either. He's Nigerian, but that's his only loss, is to Kennedy Nzechukwu. But Carlos Ulberg was fucking beating the fuck out of him the entire fight. Beating the fuck out of him. And the thing is, right, like, he was beating the fuck out of him, and he gassed out because he was doing too much. He was doing way too much. And I'm gonna get Nikolai's record up a minute. And yes, I know Nikolai beat Kennedy. I know that. But this is what I'm looking at, right? Right. He beat Kennedy Nzechukwu by split decision, right? He beat EK Villanueva, who's 18-12, right? Who just he wasn't really dominating that fight. Another split decision over Alexa Karma, which he arguably could have lost that fight. And the thing is, right, you're looking at all of his, all of his wins, right? So he's fighting on promotions barely anybody's heard of. And he's, he's beat, look at his competition level, right? In his debut, he fought a 1-3 guy. Second fight, he fought a guy coming on his debut. Third fight, he fought an 0-1 guy. Then a 2-1, 3-2, and then a 12-41. Which, all it says here is win retirement. 5 minutes, round 2. So I'm guessing the guy quit on the stool, I don't know. But the guy he beat 3-2, he won by doctor stoppage. Then he goes and beats a guy who is 7-5. Then goes and beats a guy who's 2-15, and then 10-13, and then loses a split decision to Spagev Sararov, who is 8-2, decent fighter. And then, right, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 wins in the UFC. 2 of them are by split decision against bottom feeders, really. I mean, not bottom feeders, but not the best. And the thing is, right, Kennedy Nzechukwu, he won by split decision. It's not looking good. Carlos Ulberg is the much better striker, and I think he's going to stuff the takedowns. I got Carlos Ulberg by 30-27 decision. Next fight on the card, Julio Arce versus Montel Jackson. They're saying there's no odds on this fight for some reason, but I'm going to go with Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson's a very big bantamweight with massive hands. He has one of the biggest hands in the entire roster, not just bantamweight, in the entire roster. Montel Jackson, his main losses are to Ricky Simone and somebody else. My memory is terrible, that's why I always have to look up in the middle of a fucking video. Topology. Where's his loss? Brett Jones, that's the one. Right, obviously he lost to Ricky Simone by decision, and then he lost to Brett Jones by decision also. But you look at his wins though, right? He's beaten Brian Kelleher, Andre Sarkimon, Felipe Colares, Jesse Strader, and JP Buys. So yeah, he's beaten bottom feeders in a way, but Brian Kelleher's not. I think he's above the bottom feeder level. He's a pretty decent guy. And the thing is like he's not winning. He's not winning he's having very dominant, he's having very dominant performances. Julio Arce is very good. He's a decent grappler, but the problem with him, I just don't see him getting anything over Montel Jackson. I think Montel Jackson is too quick for him. And the thing is, I just think that Montel Jackson has the edge on the feet. And when it comes to grappling, Julio Arce is the much better grappler, but I just don't see him getting Montel Jackson down. I think people like Ricky Simone, people like Brett Jones are at the level where they're able to out-grapple him. And I know, like I said, he's got wins over bottom feeders, but those bottom feeders, some of them have decent grappling. Like JP Buys has good, I know he's a flyweight, but he has good grappling, and he couldn't get anywhere near taking Montel Jackson down. And Montel Jackson has great power, dropped JP Buys a lot of times. I know JP Buys haven't got the best chins, but I just think his power is going to be too much for Julio Arce, and I think he's going to have a second round TKO in my opinion. I just see Julio Arce trying to clinch up with him and just trip him, but Montel Jackson just blasting knees to the body and just landing short uppercuts and just Julio Arce just going down. I just see it happening. Next fight on the card, Michael Trizano versus Singwei Choi. Michael Trizano's a plus 135 underdog. Singwei Choi is a minus 155 favorite. I'm going with Singwei Choi. Now, Singwei Choi is a very good athlete. He's very fast, he's very explosive, he has great power, and he's a good all-around fighter, to be honest with you. Now, you look at Singwei Choi's record, right? You look at his record, right? He's 10-5, not the best record in the world, right? But you got to think of it this way, right? Right. Obviously, he beat Julian Erosa. Great win to have, by the way he's looking. He also beat Yusuf Zalal. And you look at two losses stand out to me. He lost by rear naked choke to Alex Caceres, and he lost by split decision to Joshua Kalibo. Now, those two losses really stick out to me. And the reason they stick out to me is because Sungwoo Choi really struggles against people who have very awkward striking. Very, very awkward striking. He struggles against people who are very unpredictable and very wild. And the thing is, Alex Caceres is not a wild striker, so you're probably like, what do I mean? Well, what I mean is Alex Caceres is just very unorthodox in general. He's very hard to get a read on. He's a very awkward guy. You know what I mean? He's a soy boy on a vegan diet, so he's a bit flexible, you can say, and he's very hard to pin down. And Sungwoo Choi was winning that fight, but he ruined it for himself by throwing that illegal knee, and then he got caught in the rear naked choke. But he was winning that fight, but he was struggling because Alex Caceres has very awkward movement, and he's very good at moving back and forth. And the reason he lost to Joshua Kalibo is Joshua Kalibo is a very unorthodox striker. Very unorthodox, very hard to pin down, strikes from awkward angles. Now, the reason I think he's going to beat Michael Trizano is Michael Trizano's a very basic striker. Michael Trizano reminds me of how basic he is, not the style, but how basic he is, like Julian Erosa. Julian Erosa is so basic, and the way that he lunges into exchanges, that's how Sung Woo Choi caught him with that hook. And I think he's going to do the exact same thing to Trizano, but not finish him with it. I got Sung Woo Choi by 30-27. I just think the way that how like simple Michael Trizano is, like Sung Woo Choi is literally like the featherweight version of Whittaker. The more simple you are, the more simple and pressure forward fighter you are, the better that he looks against you. And I think that Sung Woo Choi is going to have a decent showing, and I think he's going to get this done by 30-27 decision. Maybe drop Michael Trizano once or twice. Next fight on the card, Karolina Kowalczyk versus Silvana Gomez Suarez. Karolina is a minus 115 favorite. Oh wait, sorry, this is a pick'em fight. I'm gonna go with Silvana Gomez Suarez. Karolina Kowalczyk she's alright, but I just think that the power difference is gonna be a big factor here. I don't see her taking down Silvana Gomez Suarez, and I don't see her really like being able to implement a strike impact rhythm against Silvana. Silvana has great power, and the thing is, she's going to learn from her mistakes, because obviously when she dropped Vanessa Demopoulos, she tried to hop on top of her and finish her, but obviously Vanessa caught her in that choke. Now, or the armbar, whichever it was, I can't remember, but it was off her back. And I think that she's going to learn from that mistake, and I think she's going to capitalize on Karolina. Karolina leaves herself open too many times, and I just think that Silvana will catch her. And her power is crazy for strawweight, man, and I see it happening. So I got Silvana Gomez Suarez by first round TKO. Book it. Next fight on the card, Matt Frevola versus Otman Azaitar. Matt Frevola is a minus 145 favorite. Otman Azaitar is a plus 125 underdog. Right. This is hard. Right. I might have to make my first underdog pick. I'm going to go with Otman Azaitar. This is a very close fight. Now, what makes Matt Frevola the favourite is because he's a decent grappler, and Otman Azaitar has proven, especially on the regional scene, he can be out-grappled very easily. Now, think about it this way, right? Otman Azaitar is undefeated, right? He looked very good in his last fight. He's definitely on the sauce, right? Because obviously that whole bag incident where he got cut but then got, put back in the roster. You know that incident in Abu Dhabi. Now, Otman Azaitar, he's got one edge over Matt Frevola, right? And the fact is that Matt Frevola just looks terrible at this point in his career. Now, Matt Frevola, obviously, he got knocked out by Terence McKinney. There's no harm in that. Terence McKinney is a very, very good fighter, but he just looks worse as he gets in there. Otman Azaitar looks like he's improving his grappling, and he's looking a lot better. And I just see him being able to. I'm just banking on him stuffing the takedowns and finishing Matt Frevola in the third round. This is a big ask, but people don't understand this is a lot closer fight than what you think it is. This is a very hard fight for Matt Frevola, and the way that he's looked, I just can't pick him. I can't pick him the way that he's looked. I don't see him out grappling Otman Azaitar. I see Otman Azaitar keeping him on the feet and just out striking him. Winning, maybe losing the first round, but then winning the second, and then getting finishing the third while winning it. So yeah, Otman Azaitar, in my opinion, third round TKO. Next fight on the card, now we're on to the main card. Andre Petroski versus Wellington Turman. Petroski's a minus 205 favourite. Turman's a plus 175 underdog. That was a bad burp, man. Almost spewed. Fuck. I'm going to go with Andre Petroski, the favourite in Andre Petroski. Fuck's yeah, I can't say names. Petroski, that's one. Andre Petroski. Wellington Turman, he's young, but split decision to Salam Alvi, which he should have lost, by the way. He just doesn't look good, man. Like I said, he's young and he can improve, but he just doesn't look good against anybody you put in front of him. He doesn't look great. He hasn't shown anything special. He's shown nothing he's shown nothing that he can outdo his opponent easily with. He just hasn't showed much. That's what I mean. Like he just hasn't showed much. Andre Petrosky is an insane grappler with good stand-up. Now, Wellington Turman should have lost a split decision to Sam Alvey, and I know MMA math don't work, whatever, but think about it. Look at the way Sam Alvey's been looking, and he went to a split decision with him. And Andre Petrosky, just to give you a glimpse on how good his grappling is, I'll get his record up now. Andre Petrosky. It's so easy to say. Petrosky, see? No. Anyway. Think about it this way, right? Right. Obviously, he has that win over Nick Maximov, obviously. Very good win. Got him with a Anaconda choke. Beat Michael Gilmore by ground and pound. Obviously, I know he lost to Brian Battle, but yeah, he has very good jiu-jitsu. Like I said, his grappling's insane. Like, he beat Yazong Hu by arm triangle choke, beat Phil Hawes in a grappling match by decision. Phil Hawes is fucking insane at grappling. Don't get me wrong, he has no chin, but his grappling's insane, right? Then he went on to beat Nick Maximov by Anaconda choke, then beat Eric Anders in grappling by Anaconda choke. I'm going with that Anaconda choke. I think he's going to Anaconda choke Wellington Turman. Book it right now. Next fight on the card, Erin Blanchfield versus Molly McCann. By the way, I'll say Petrosky will do it in the third round. Anyway, Erin Blanchfield versus Molly McCann. Erin Blanchfield is a minus 380 favourite. Molly McCann's a plus 310 underdog. I am going to go with the big favourite in Erin Blanchfield. I am keeping in mind that Molly McCann can deal damage. She's shown that she's improved her takedown defense, but at the same time, I just don't see her being able to defend takedowns against this level of grappler. And the thing is, right, like, obviously I'll get her shit up now. Topology. Right. I mean, and don't get me wrong, she lost to Talia Santos, who's very fucking good, man. She lost to Gillian Robson earlier in her career, 2018. She lost by rear naked choke. Obviously, Talia Santos by decision. She lost to Lara Fritzen by decision. Then she's gone on a 3-fight win streak since. She's beaten Ji Young Kim. She's beaten Luana Carolina, who's a bottom feeder. Then beat Hannah Goldie, both by spinning back elbow. You got to take into account that she can. She's a very capable fighter and can deal damage, but she struggles with grappling. And I just think that Erin Blanchfield is the one to expose her grappling. Think about it this way. Look at Miranda Maverick, who got robbed against what's her name? It's literally right there. Macy Barber. She got robbed against Macy Barber. Look how good Macy Barber's looked since. She's looked unstoppable since. Right? And I know this is women's flyweight and they shouldn't fight in, I know. But, you know what I mean? Pick them up, like. She's looked unstoppable in that division, right? And flyweight is not impressive. Strawweights are the best female division. But look at the way Miranda Maverick has looked, yeah? She's absolutely dominated her competition. Grappling. And Erin Blanchfield out-grappled her like she was nothing. Erin Blanchfield is that next level that I don't think Molly McCann is ready for. I think that Molly McCann's going to lose this fight and then fight Miranda Maverick. Because Erin Blanchfield, she's just better everywhere. Maybe not striking so much. Maybe they're even. But the grappling is what's going to make a difference. I think she's going to take down McCann and control her for 3 rounds. I just think that she's the much better grappler and she's going to be able to implement it. She's the taller girl. Oh no, she's not. They're the same height, but she's a longer 5'4" though. She's got 4 inches of reach to work with. Now, Erin Blanchfield will use that reach again to the grappling. I think she's going to grapple Molly McCann, who's shown a hole in that game yet to be fixed. Because think about it, like, people who are trying to take her down ain't grapplers because she's better at striking. Erin Blanchfield is on the level and got better grappling. Erin Blanchfield is a top 10 worthy opponent. She's worthy to be in the top 10. I do rate Erin Blanchfield in that women's division. So yeah, I think she's much better than Molly Khan. I got Erin Blanchfield by 30-27. Next fight on the card, Dominic Reyes versus Ryan Spann. Dominic Reyes is a -215 favourite. Ryan Spann is a +185 underdog. This fight has been announced for fucking ages. Obviously, I made a video on this months ago when I basically first started the channel because this fight got announced. I am going with Dominic Reyes. Now, only if Dominic Reyes shows up and completes this fucking alley-oop, because Ryan Spann is fucking dangerous. But there's one weakness that Ryan Spann has, is that he also has a glass chin. Along with all that power that he has, he does have a glass chin. And Dominic Reyes have shown that he does have power. Dominic Reyes has taken a long time off since being KO'd by Prohaska. He's taken a long time off, and I think if anybody can stop the momentum that Ryan Spann has right now, I think that Dominic Reyes can do it. Think about it this way, right? Anthony Smith is very undersized for light heavyweight, and if he can crack and wobble Spann everywhere, just by connecting with jabs and short straight shots, Dominic Reyes can definitely do that. I don't think Dominic Reyes is actually gonna KO him, but I don't see Ryan Spann KOing him. I think Dominic Reyes will lose the first round, survive it, and then second and third round, because Ryan Spann will exert so much energy trying to get him out there. I think Dominic Reyes will just take over and just pepper him with shots, outstriking, do more damage in those last 2 rounds, and just beat him on the feet, like kind of school him in the last 2 rounds, because Ryan Spann's so tired. And I just think that I do rate Dominic Reyes. I think he's very good. He beat John Jones. That's what people forget. He beat John Jones 3 rounds to 2, and I know, well, John Jones won on paper, yeah, but it was a robbery, and you know it. Dominic Reyes is good. I just think that the only reason he's only going to win this fight against Ryan Spann when Ryan Spann is tired is only because his confidence is not going to be there. He's coming off 3 losses in a row technically, but could you imagine the high you come out of when you know in your head, oh, I just beat John Jones 3-2, and then they go, winner by split, what they say? One judge gave it 4 rounds to 1 to John. Unbelievable. But I mean, winner by whatever decision, and then they, I can't remember if it was unanimous or split, but by decision, and still, and he's like, whoa, and he knew he won that fight, and you could tell it bothered him mentally because he kept talking about it in every interview. Overlooked Jan, got KO'd by Jan, right? And then the next fight, then he gets KO'd by Prohaska. And it's going to do his confidence in, and I think he's going to be very timid in the first round, especially because he's been out for over a year. I think he's going to be very timid, but school Ryan Spann in the last 2 rounds because he's tired. I think after this, if he wins this, his confidence will go up a lot more, and I think you can see much better performances by him. But yeah, I got Dominic Reyes by 29-28. It's a dodgy, tough one to do, but I think he got it. Right. Next fight on the card, this is the end of the prelims. Oh yeah, it's not the main card, sorry, it's the prelims, isn't it? It's early prelim, yeah, I forgot it was a pay-per-view, my bad. Anyway, next fight on the card, Brad Riddell versus Renato Moicano. Brad Riddell's a +105 underdog, Renato Moicano's a -125 favourite. I am going to go with the slight favourite in Renato Moicano. I think Moicano's just... I think that he has more options than Riddell. He's a good fighter, right? He's a good fighter. But the problem with Riddell is he's very one-dimensional. And when you've got a guy that can pressure him and has the ability to hurt him, what does he do? He tries to shoot into takedowns and gets caught in fucking submissions. That's what happens. He gets cracked and then he shoots in for a bad takedown. He did it against Drew Dober, but still won the fight, right? Okay. But the problem is, right, he tried too much on the feet with Fiziev, and Fiziev caught him with that spinning hook kick, caught him right on the side of the temple. And then he got cracked by Jalen Turner and tried to shoot a takedown and got fucking guillotined. I generally think that Renato Moicano doesn't have the greatest power in the world, but I just think that he's so tough. He showed that against RDA. I think he's so tough that Riddell will just have a good first round against him, but I think the next 2 rounds, he'll keep so much pressure on him that because Riddell's thrown everything at him. He might even drop Moicano in the first round. And Moicano just still gets up, stays in his face, and just continues popping shots at him and just continues doing what he has to do. And Brad Riddell's like, oh shit, like I'm not expecting this. And all of a sudden Riddell's starting to gas a little bit. Moicano is doing a very good job of just keeping on him and, you know, making him think he's going to grapple. And I think the pressure is going to get too much for Riddell, and he's going to shoot the takedown and get caught in a guillotine. I think that'll happen in the third round. So I got Renato Moicano by third round guillotine choke. Okay. Got hiccups in a minute. But yeah. Next fight on the card, Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles. Dan Hooker's a minus 155 favourite. Claudio Puelles is a plus 135 underdog. I'm going with Dan Hooker. I look at Claudio Puelles. His striking's not there, man. Like, he's more of a jiu-jitsu guy. And Dan Hooker, when he's not facing a Dagestani, contrary to belief of that fight, he actually has very good takedown defense. People that say CKB tend to have good takedown defense, like Brad Riddell, but Dan Hooker does have very good takedown defense. The problem with Claudio Puelles is he struggles to get people to the ground anyway because he's more of a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't think Dan Hooker will KO him. I don't think Dan Hooker has the greatest power. You notice, right, most of the people that he has KO'd are either people who are too drained to take a shot, like Gilbert Burns, or people like James Vick, who has a glass chin. But I do love James Vick, he's a cool guy, but, like, Dan Hooker doesn't have a lot of power. Because think about it this way, if Dan Hooker had genuine power, he would have KO'd Poirier in that second round. 100% he would have finished him. But the thing is, right, Claudio Puelles' striking is just not there, bro. It's not there. And he has, like I said, it's not terrible, but compared to the level of Dan Hooker, who has that kickboxing style with good takedown defense, I just see Claudio Puelles getting 30-27, and I think it's going to be similar to the fight against what's his name? It's Dan Hooker's literal last win. Oh, for fuck's sake! It's literally his last. It's literally his last win. I told you guys my fucking memory is shit. Nazarat Hakbaras, that's the one. I genuinely think that you know, he beats him by decision, 30-27. Next fight on the card, Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. Frankie Edgar's a plus 175 underdog. Chris Gutierrez is a minus 205 favourite. Fuck me, well, I'm going with the fucking underdog and Frankie Edgar. Chris Gutierrez doesn't have the power that I'm seeing, that everybody's talking about. And Frankie Edgar is going to expose that grappling. I think he's going to put him on his back and just ground and pound him out for 3 rounds. And I think he'll actually get the late third round TKO. Chris Gutierrez is good. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good fighter. But I think that the experience of Frankie Edgar, and I just think the fact that I think he's going to retire on a win, and I think he took this fight because he knows he can win this fight. And I think he's going to take down Chris Gutierrez and just keep similar ground and pound for 3 rounds and finally get the finish in the third. I just see him really exposing the grappling, because Chris Gutierrez got good grappling, but not to the level of Frankie Edgar. And I think Frankie Edgar's going to take him down and grind him out. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, so there's not much to say on this fight, but I think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, next fight on the card, Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. Dustin Poirier is a minus 175 favourite. Michael Chandler's a plus 150 underdog. Right, so in this fight, you've got to weigh up a lot of things, right? Do you trust Michael Chandler? I was gonna say a different Michael then. Do you trust Michael Chandler to actually wrestle in this fight? Or is he gonna go out there and strike with Poirier and only grapple if he has to? I think it's so instilled in him now to strike that I can see a Dustin Poirier win here. Michael Chandler grappled with Tony Ferguson because Tony Ferguson dropped him in the first round. he got dropped by a washed-up Tony Ferguson. And don't get me wrong, Tony Ferguson's always somewhat dangerous, but that's how chinny Chandler is. Chandler is so chinny that he got dropped by Tony Ferguson in a fresh first round. And in a fresh first round against a washed-up Tony that hasn't dropped anybody since the Gaethje fight. Chandler, like I said, Chandler only grapples when he has to, and if he were like to mix it up like he did when he was younger, I think I would give him a chance against Poirier, especially because he's not that big of an underdog. No, especially because he is an underdog. But the problem is, right, Dustin Poirier's striking is so slick, it's so good. Even if this was a wrestling heavy mixed with a striking Chandler, I still pick him Poirier, because Chandler, for some reason, I think he doesn't want to wrestle because I think he thinks he'll gas. Because he's so instilled in his muscle memory to strike now. And Poirier's defense is unbelievable. And the thing is, Tony was piecing Chandler up before Chandler fucking found that front kick to the face to knock him out. Like, Chandler wasn't doing too well on the feet against a Tony Ferguson who was not as technically sound, especially defensively, as Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier has that elbow guard that he likes to do. And that's going to be a struggle for Chandler to land those hooks. And I think Dustin Poirier is just going to school him and TKO him in the second. I think he's generally going to TKO him. Dustin Poirier has a very good chin, right? That's all I got to say about Poirier at the moment, because people like to talk about his chin and stuff. The only time he got KO'd at lightweight, really, was against Michael Johnson, who he very much underestimated Michael Johnson, completely disrespected the power and got caught on the chin and put out. And, you know how inconsistent Michael Johnson is. One day he could fucking beat the shit out of Superman, and then the next day he's fucking losing to Poison Ivy. Like, do you know what I mean? But Michael Chandler keeps it consistent. I think it'll be a show for the first round, but I think Dustin Poirier will secretly, quietly be just schooling him, and I think he'll TKO him in a second. Next fight on the card, Carla Esparza versus Zhang Weili. Weird that there's no odds on you. Because obviously the Derek Minner fight against a person from that area of Asia, the odds swelled up, but for some reason they haven't got odds on this fight. But I don't know. Anyway, like I said, Carla Esparza versus Zhang Weili. I am picking Zhang Weili. It's because Zhang Weili has evolved so much in grappling and her pure strength, man. The way that she picked up Francis Ngannou like that. Like, Zhang Weili is so strong, and I think she's worked on her grappling so much. She got robbed against Rose Namajunas in their second fight. She clearly beat her 3-2, clearly. And obviously not Joanna the fuck out, but it was Joanna coming off a 2-year layoff and all his injuries and just didn't look good, didn't take her career seriously. By the way, she just got taken off the roster. But Zhang Weili looked good though. And she looked very good. Like I said, she looked very good in the second fight against Namajunas. I just think that she's gonna be too much for Carla, man. Carla just hasn't looked the same since that Yang Jianyang fight, and she smashed the fuck out of Yang Jianyang. And I know she fought Namajunas straight after, but it was literally a staring match for 5 rounds. Let's be real. But I mean, I'm going to go with Zhang Weili. She has more ways to win. She has more power. She's much better on the feet. And I don't see Carla Esparza being able to take her down, because she couldn't even take Rose down properly for the 5 rounds. And I just think that Zhang Weili's going to be able to stuff them and just keep her on the feet. And I think Zhang Weili will live a shot there in the 3rd round. I think it'll be a 3rd round TKO. Next fight on the card, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Fanboy's not gonna like this, but okay. Anyway, let me read the odds first. Israel Adesanya is a -165 favorite. Alex Pereira is a +140 underdog. Right, I'm gonna make a separate video on this, explaining why I'm picking Alex Pereira. But I'll go briefly over here. I got Alex Pereira by 3rd round KO. There's opportunities that I see. This is the first time that Adesanya is fighting somebody in the middleweight division who's taller than him. Let's be real, Israel is not 6'4". He knows he's not 6'4". Alex Pereira is actually 6'4". Both basically have the same reach. This is the first time that he's going to fight somebody with the same reach and very similar height. And I think it's going to be the same shock that John Jones had when he fought Gustafsson for the first time. Because John was so used to being the much longer and much taller guy. Now, Israel Adesanya is good, but this is why I think Alex Pereira is going to win. I think Alex Pereira has evolved more as a striker. He was recently in kickboxing just over a year ago, so he's going to be fresher in those terms. Israel hasn't fought in kickboxing in like 5 years. And the thing is Alex Pereira has improved much more as a striker than Adesanya has in the last 5 years. Alex Pereira has turned into an absolute monster. And I don't think also... This is how I'm going to go over my briefly, right? I'll go really detailed in the video, so watch out for that video. That'll be posted at some point. But Israel Adesanya will not grapple with Alex Pereira. And if he does, you know what's going to happen if he does. Because if he grapples with Alex Pereira, his reputation is done. And the reason is that because he's been talking about, I'm going to knock out Alex Pereira. And he's already unsuccessfully delivered on his promises. He said he was going to knock out Cannonier, he didn't. He said he was going to knock out Whittaker, and he didn't. And Whittaker should have won that fight. Whittaker should be the champ right now. He said he was going to... What else did he say? He said he was going to knock out Vettori, didn't do it. He said he's going to knock out or choke out Vettori, didn't happen. And... partly because Vettori also has a fucking granite auger chin, but that's not the point. Like, if he grapples with Alex Pereira, he's already answered the question, Alex Pereira is a better striker, and you know that will haunt him. Even if he out-grappled Pereira and won that fight, that will haunt him. Everybody be like, yeah, you won and out-grappled Pereira, but Pereira's the better striker. You were forced to grapple with him. And the thing is, I don't see him taking down Alex Pereira, though. I really don't. I think that Alex Pereira will have just enough to stuff those takedowns. I really think I really think I do. And is nothing wrong with his cardio. I mean, he went to like a kind of like a mini war with Bruno Silva and showed great cardio in those 3 rounds. And I know it's a 5-round fight, so it's different, but the pacing will be different. And I think it'll suit Pereira more. I think this will be tit for tat, but I think Alex Pereira will slowly gain his way in. And I see him just slumping Israel against the cage with his signature left hook, the exact same combination. Let's just say, right, to give you a sneak peek into my new video, right, into the video I will upload, Cannonier connected on the exact same combination that Alex Pereira landed on Adesanya. Cannonier is 5'11", Alex Pereira is 6'4". Cannonier has a much shorter reach, well, not much shorter reach, but has a shorter reach, and couldn't quite reach Adesanya because of his height difference. Let's just say if Alex Pereira gets that, Israel's going out cold. And there's many openings for Alex Pereira that I recently, literally today, just watched Alex Pereira's fight with Bruno Silva. That he leaves a lot of openings. But I think Israel's going to be too timid to capitalise on him, at the start especially. Maybe second, third round he will capitalise, but Alex Pereira has a good chin too. Adesanya has a good chin as well. But forearms, gloves, I think Alex Pereira might get rocked a couple of times, but I think he will connect on Israel, and I think he'll put him out cold. 3rd round, slumped against the cage, I reckon. I'll go more into detail in another video. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Hopefully all my picks hit. And if you're new, please like and subscribe. If you enjoy these type of videos, just hit the like button. Let me know what you want to see, and let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you think is going to win in these last 3 fights here? Who do you think is going to win? Let me know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Run up my other videos, and like I said, watch out for that new video that I'll get to working on soon. Israel versus Alex Pereira. I'll go really into detail so you can understand my psyche and I'm really going to go into detail. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. This is Keep It Real MMA. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.